So welcome to another edition of the Influence Global podcast, and I'm delighted to be having Erica Yang with us today, who is the CEO and founder of Real Hype. And we are going to be talking about hype, but more particularly in regard to live stream and TikTok, which has been a huge phenomena over the last few years. Everybody seems to be talking about live stream. So Erica, lovely to meet you.
Yes, it's my honor to be here.
So for those of us that are watching or indeed listening, perhaps you'd be good enough to just tell us a little bit about your background just before we get into the meat of our subject today.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, my name is Erica Yang, and I was born and raised in China. I came to United States for my school, then I stayed. So originally I was a Wall Street banker, and then I switched into the TV film industry. And then during the pandemic, we created this new business focused on creating trending viral video, the short video.
Yeah, so Wall Street banker, how cool is that? That must have been fairly fast paced and having to think on your toes, which often is all about sort of content creators now, isn't it? It's when it comes to live stream, you know, you're very immediate. I mean, perhaps just give us a little bit more of a background on live stream. Why has it been such a phenomena? And particularly the Asian market have led the way, haven't they, in this?
Yeah, live streaming, as you know, it's already like a very established market in China and started out from Taobao, that's the Alibaba live streaming platform. Eventually, the Chinese TikTok called Douyin eventually emerged and become the mainstream app for people go on live stream. So originally, people go on live streaming for entertainment, and then slowly it just emerged into live streaming e-commerce. It's become a phenomenal. As you know, one of the example is Austin Lee. We call him Lipstick King. So on the single day, sort of like a Black Friday here, he sells over a billion products in a few hours.
No, really, that's incredible. That is
Yeah,
phenomenal. I know we talked about this in the pre-call, but we hadn't actually talked about the sheer amount of volume. A billion.
yeah,
Oh,
it's insane.
that is
It's
insane.
almost become a culture. Like everybody wants to buy products and they go on live streaming. They say like, and then you have like hundreds of live stream on a different room. And then when you log on Chinese Douyin, and the algorithm just gonna push according to each person's interest and push them to the different live stream. Some live stream might live stream e-commerce. Some live stream could be just live performance. Somebody is singing or dancing.
But now this isn't just about content creators that are professionals. Everybody seems to be getting in on it, and even like traditional farmers in more distant parts of China. So tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it's really live streaming. What essentially does is help a lot of people in the remote place, and so they have an opportunity to sell their products to the much larger customers around the nation. And one of the reasons is, you know, a lot of farms and they always produce like a surplus of the goods that couldn't be distributed to all over the country and fast enough, so they may stay bad. So now all the farmers get on Douyin and then start live selling their oranges, their shrimps, and then all of that has actually become a phenomenon. Even
I
they
love
actually
it.
selling milk. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? They sell out of milk out of the farm.
Whereas traditionally they would have just been able to do that in their small local market with
Yeah.
relatively small numbers. And actually there is a potential challenge for this is the supply chain, because suddenly they go onto a platform like Douyin and Bush, and suddenly these farmers could find themselves with they haven't got enough stock to be able to supply the demand.
Yeah, it definitely helped because the algorithm helped the farmer to find the right customers, and then also the algorithm helped them, you know, with all the supply chain, customer service, all of that becomes so much better. It's really it just definitely boosted. The timing was right as well.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we've obviously talked about somebody that's huge, i.e., the Lipstick King. But for you know, for smaller type businesses, how can they really benefit from live stream selling? What are the sorts of things that you should be thinking about? So let's just say, look, for example, me, if I wanted to suddenly, I got an e-com, I got a product that I wanted to sell. What are the sorts of things I need to be thinking about before I really make it happen
Yeah,
on TikTok?
absolutely.
On TikTok.
Yeah, for sure. On TikTok, first of you need to have some level of following. That following establishes some kind of specialty, like a vertical, we call it in industry. Means are you a makeup influencer or you're a fashion influencer or lifestyle or electronics? Could be all different kind. So you define your own specialty and the vertical, and then based upon that, and you sell a product on that type of stream. Then now there are three factors gonna determine how successful you can on live stream e-commerce. And success, we mean eventually you can sell products and make money. So factor A is what type of product you're selling. So of course your product needs to be competitive, is good enough, and also have a price advantage. And number two is you are a very good host. So, there is definition of what good host is, could be, different factors. Everyone has their own specialty. Somebody is a good singer, they can keep people in the stream and watch them sing, and somebody is just funny, right? So whatever your specialty is, you are able to hype the audience up. So once you attract them into your live stream room and they stay long enough, so you have time and opportunity to actually sell them a product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really fascinating, is because something else that we were talking about before, you could almost be on live stream on all of the time, couldn't you? And therefore be, I guess there are downsides to that, in the sense that you are almost a slave to your clients, because they want, the more they see of you, the more they want of you. And when do you have a bit of a break if you have this? Because we know that the more you're on streaming all of the time, the more your follower base is going, the more your engagement, the more you're selling product. But when do you decide how to turn that off?
I think it's really is, of course, the consistency is the key. So you want the algorithm understand or know you actually a serious live streamer. Algorithm absolutely would identify that. So if you do, let's just say 3 times a week, that's still a type of consistency that algorithm will think you are serious about the live stream. That's A. Is of course B is you have to decide, what's your bandwidth and how much can you live stream. You just have to balance it off. Of course, according to the algorithm, according to everything else considered, we encourage you live stream as much as possible. If you are a single live streamer streaming for yourself and it's always your face be on, you just have to make sure the consistency. And then sometimes, one live stream, you have actually a team of people, a minimum 3 to 4 people on your live stream. You have your assistant. You also have people constantly stay on the computer right back to their audience while you are talking. You also have people kind of, we call like a facilitator for constantly moving the products into the live stream in and out. So it's definitely a team effort. If it's a brand, say brands has their own live stream, and then it's just like you have a team, like a shift. So somebody is at 1, 2, 3, 3 to 5, so different people comes in to live stream.
And are these done a lot of the time in virtual studios in people's homes, or do people go to locations to perform their sort of live streaming sessions?
Oh, it's actually both. Both. A lot of people live stream from their home. There's also become a massive like live stream factories, and you have a massive building, and each building have many rooms with different sets. And the live streamer just goes in like they're going to work, and then it's really fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is in China at the moment, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. You'll be fascinated. It's
I
literally
would.
become a live stream factory. I'll share with you some photos and videos so you can see it later.
Yeah, no, that would be good. Actually, we should include those as part of the podcast. Actually, just so
Yeah,
people
for
can
sure.
get a sense of it. Now, from a business point of view, and obviously you've mentioned Lipstick King and stuff. They are phenomenal results. But in terms of marketing budgets, why should brands consider now spend? I mean, I guess it speaks for itself, really. You're making more money and sales are quicker. Do you see this really growing a lot more in the European markets? Because I do. You made a point earlier, which I think is quite fascinating. Is you could have somebody that's a great content creator, but they also
Yeah.
have to be a good host. They have to have certain presenting skills. It's almost like when you're at school, isn't it? You have somebody that knows the subject, but they're either a great teacher or a bad teacher. And therefore, you're not getting that content enrichment because they're either, if they're not a good teacher. So, is there training support for some of these hosts that have great content or great products?
Absolutely. In
Yeah.
China, it's literally become one of the major industries. So there will be like live stream school, like a whole
You're
training
joking.
program.
Live
Yeah.
stream school. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
absolutely. There's like a school and then training you have a program, online courses, and actually going to the actual classes in person. It's a major industry. It's almost like an entire supply chain of live stream going on in China.
Wow, I've got to go there. I have got to go there. You've inspired me so much to do it. No, and obviously TikTok has been the one that people talk about when they talk about live stream, don't they? And pretty much, I think from memory, you've only got to have like 1,000 subscribers on TikTok before you can press that you can effectively go live. And the great thing about the TikTok algorithm is it's very generous to sharing different types of content to people, whereas I think some of the others are very, very specific to what you're watching. You're only being fed that type of content, aren't you? Which is why people can almost explode quickly on TikTok rather than any other platform. What's your thoughts around the next year or so, particularly in the UK and Europe and maybe in the States, more brands investing in live stream marketing?
Oh, absolutely. So I answered two parts of the question. The first question you were saying, and somebody is being a great content creator, not necessarily being a great host, is
Yes.
actually really a fact. And so there are two types of live streamer. Some people just naturally very good at pushing the products, pushing for sales, and some people just naturally a good content creator. And there are people just good at both. So you
Yes.
kind of really require somebody focus on just very good at selling the product. You don't necessarily be the greatest like content creator. That skill can be supplemented by other people. So that's question A. B is yes, it's going to spread around the world in terms of live streaming. And China has tested a TikTok live streaming in UK. So they tested it for about 6 months, and it was decently successful. And now this year, TikTok invested heavily in technology point of view and also money wise, and they pay attention. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really good to hear because I think there's lots of e-commerce brands out there now that are realizing that by working with influencers. In fact, I mean, Alibaba and Amazon about a couple of years ago put out a request for 100,000 influencers because they realized that they were the opportunity for them to really, really sell their products. And so how do we talk to me? You obviously work in this space all the time. So tell me more about do people approach you or do brands approach you? What does what's your business model look like?
We are a agency, like I consider we're like the next generation of a marketing agency, heavily focused on knows how creating a short trending viral videos to push the products. Oh, a lot more focused on TikTok. As you know, TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is also already investor. So we've been in the industry a long time and understand an algorithm data. So we work with that scientifically in that sense. Yeah, and in the United States, and I would say is, for you to be very successful in live stream space, and first of all, you need to have a lot of traffic. So TikTok essentially is one of the most powerful platform, has over 1.5 billion users now, several hundred million active users now on a monthly basis. So you do have that amount of audience to watch your live stream. And it's very hard for somebody to just go ahead and create an independent app, say I'm going to go on live stream because you don't have that amount of traffic that goes to you. That's A. And B is it is absolutely a phenomenon in China now. And the TikTok is making a huge amount of efforts to make it very successful here in the United States. So our business model is brands approach to us and say, hey, we want to go live stream. And then we work for them. We help them choose the host. We help them to set up. It depends on the level of live streaming you want to go. Some of the major live streaming in China, almost like you live broadcast a soccer game or you live broadcast of like a ceremony or gala. It could be low production, could be really high production, can go to all level. And also individual approach us as well. Say, hey, I'm an influencer, I want to get into the live streaming space. And then we show them know-how and we match them with the right products to do that as well.
Very interesting, very interesting. So are you able to sort of share some other case studies or some other brands that you've worked with? Because you know, obviously we've talked about sort of Lipstick King and the farmers in Asia, but more recently in the States, what type of brands have you been successful with?
We have done a lot of makeup products live streaming. So we normally have 2 co-hosts. We also have the music in the background, and then we have the game. We switch that game. What makeup you want me to do? So we have one person doing the makeup, another person focus on the products, and then we have 4 or 5 different cameras because our quality is really high. And then we have assistant, and we have hype man. So really try to make the live stream room really interesting. So we did a makeup. We also did in fashion and basically selling the fashion and clothes. And we did it also in the outdoor equipment, like you know, the goggles and snow goggles and the helmet, all of that. It's pretty much in all genre now.
Amazing, amazing. No, lovely. It's really good to see how much you've progressed in this space, and I think the future is really bright, isn't it? So who's your favorite live streamer? You got to tell me this, Erica. Who's somebody that's really left a mark on you?
Oh, absolutely, Lipstick King. He's the region. And if you really watch how this guy live streaming, you absolutely learn a lot from them. So what happened is it definitely takes about a year or so of hard work. You won't see, you know, it's kind of like everything else in life. And then take about a year to really work on it. And then 2 years later, you become a national like phenomenon. So you just have to constantly go on do it and eventually stand out. That's my favorite live streamer. And then another one called Via. So she's the female version of Lipstick King. And then just to some extent, you are such a successful live streamer and you become a celebrity. You stay on the cover of Vogue magazine. Actually, she was on the cover of Vogue magazine just because
amazing
how successful she is in live streaming.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't you? Because at the end of the day, some of these are entrepreneurs, they're their own brands and hugely successful. Well, I have to say, Eric, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Whilst I know a little bit about live streaming, you've given me great inspiration to look at, if not Lipstick King, maybe some others. Thank you so much for spending time on the Influence Global podcast. And before we go, actually, tell us how people can find out about you.
People can find us on our Instagram, Real Hype Creative. That's our name. And also you can find us on LinkedIn, Real Hype Creative, or our website is realhypecreative.com.
Erica Yang, it's so nice to speak to you on this edition of the Global Influence Podcast today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
So this is the Fairy Peach Blossom Ultra Light Setting Powder. They're waterproof.
The powder stays intact. It's really kind of crazy. And look, it's dry.
And this has hyaluronic acid, so it's really moisturizing, but it's oil control, which is amazing because I have dry skin, so I need this.
Look how light. It's lighter than air.
Wow.
So I'm going to take this. 3 pads. All the oil is gone. You see that? It's crazy.
This is the Florist's Engraving O'Day Makeup Palette. What I love about this palette is some of the colors can also be used as highlighters and blush, as well as eyeshadow. We've got this beautiful orange, this kind of burgundy red, this teal blue. They have matte and shimmery colors, which is awesome. A gold, a pink, kind of a lighter orange, and a darker brown. These 2 colors is what I would use as blush. The beautiful little delicate engravings were inspired by an ancient Chinese poems praising a beautiful girl.
It's good to give to a beautiful girl or a guy,
it is good
you know?
to give to, yeah.